When we were on our way to the Premiership in '97, my mate Julian Rowe, who was a head teacher in Barnsley, I'd been going into lots of schools doing poems, and we were sat chatting, and he said, why don't we ring Barnsley FC up and ask if they want a poet in residence? And this is 1997, and to put in a cultural and social context, we'd just come out of a terrible 18 years of Tory government, and this place was on its knees, and they'd knocked hell out of us, and suddenly Barnsley is going up to Premiership, and you think, good God, it was so exciting, you can't believe how exciting it was. So I rang Barnsley FC up, I said, do you fancy having a poet in residence? And they went, how much will it cost us? And I said, note, because I knew that it would get a lot of publicity. Not as much as I mean, it got more than I ever thought it would. So then they went, all right then, you can be our poet in residence. I had a meeting with Michael Spinks in an office down here. He said, I've got one question to ask you. Are you a football fan? I said, yeah. So I've got another question to ask you. Are you a Barnsley fan? I said, yeah. So that was all right. So that was okay. Then the Barnsley Chronicle rang up and said, can you write us a poem every week? I said, yes. They said, it's got to be 16 lines long. It's got to fit in this space. I said, right. And if I wrote one that was 2 lines longer, they just didn't print last 2 lines. And folks would go, I didn't get that poem. Is it that the modern poetry? So then this is all it was. And then I just did a diary of that year. And it was an amazing year because you couldn't believe that a town like this was in the Premiership. I know things change, but we just had these terrible 18 years. Labour government had got in. We saw that as a great thing. Barnsley in Premier League. I got nominated for a Sony Award for one of this radio programme I'd done. I'd had my speech ready. I said, I was going to say, good things come in threes. Barnsley at Premier League, Labour government, I've won a Sony Award. Didn't win a Sony Award. But the book, there's one, and it's just full of pictures, and there's a great picture in here, if I can find it, of a bloke, because our song, of course, was just like watching Brazil. And there was a fella who used to come. This is him. He got dressed up in what he thought Brazilians looked like. So, he's got a Mexican hat, he's got a bottle of pop on which is written the word tequila, and he's got a beard, like Father Christmas, and he's got a parrot on a swing, because he thought that's what Brazilians look like. And just the joy of the excitement. And I remember the first, we played West Ham, first game, we lost 2-1, and you think, all right. Then we'd won Palace, second game, 1-0. You think, this Premier League lark's not so bad. Third game with Chelsea at home. My daughter, who still comes, she's 30 now, was so excited before the game, she was sick. She was sick upstairs. So, you all right? She says, are you poorly? She said, I'm not poorly, I'm excited. We got here, our samba band walked around the pitch playing, the Chelsea fans clapped. This bloke behind me said, does that know? I think it might be 0-0. And they thrashed us 6-0. Vialli scored 4. And we sat there, this bloke behind me says, he's not going to... So I wrote a poem about it. So it's just full of the poems that I wrote at that time. Because what happened was, that's when we first met, people would ring me up and say, can you do us a poem for this game? And local radio stations, television, American television. And since then, 1 or 2 people have done it since. Attila the stockbroker does it at Brighton and Hove Albion. A woman called Sarah Wardle did it at Spurs. And I just like the fact you can put poetry wherever you like. But what it led to was people getting hold of me. When we have a bad game, they still do it. Now then, put that in the poem. Put that in the bloody poem. Folks heckling me. I got this fantastic heckle, which I'm going to tell you. I was going down the street in Wunwell, and this bloke comes past, and he winds his window down. He goes, Ian McMillan. I went, yeah. He says, you're on telly? I said, yeah. He said, you're on radio? I said, yeah. He says, you write poems? I said, yeah. He says, you're shite. And he drove off. I went, yeah. God bless the working class. There was a great game when David Watson went off and Lars Lees came on. Lars Lees, tall as the trees that grow in Wunwell Wood. Lars Lees, listen please, we think you're very good. Was what I wrote. Not realising it was pronounced Lars Laser. But he came on and he did these fantastic saves. We played Liverpool and he kept us in the game. The best ever was beating Man United in the Cup. That was so incredible because you turn up and you think, we'd drew with them at Old Trafford with an offside goal that Hendry had scored. Probably not offside. But I remember Schmeichel came running out like this. Hendry scored. And then we played him here. And you think, okay, we've brought him to well, we might lose. And there were lots of famous people here, Beckham, Neville's, all these people. He weren't a second team. And then Scott Jones, who still works around here in sports development, did 2-headed goals. And you think, blimey, we might win. And then Hendry scored again. And again, the goal was probably offside. There's a great bit of film of him going, offside then, and he gives the goal. Oh, fantastic. That was the best one. The strangest one was when we had 3 players sent off against Liverpool here. And that was the weirdest game. This guy, Gary, what was his name?
Willard.
That was him. The referee was a fellow called Gary Willard, who looked a bit like the Penguin of Batman. And we started off, and we hadn't been doing very well, and you thought we might go down here. But that was the game that sealed it. And Willard knew the other players. He didn't know ours. So Michael Owen went down under the merest brush from Chris Morgan, who got sent off. We got 3 players sent off. We still kept attacking. Right at the end, McManaman scored. And there was a bit where this chap next to me said, I'm going to get that referee. And he ran on the pitch to attack the referee, which of course you can't do. And I've never seen Jan Åge Fjørtoft move so fast. He ran up and he tackled this bloke, tackled him to the ground. They're all shouting, why they run that fast in game, Fjørtoft? So then Willard took the players off, but didn't tell Danny Wilson or the other manager. So we're all sat there, what's happened? The game been abandoned? What's happened? We don't know. And it was horrible. But it was, at the time people were going, they want us to go down. And there was a bit of conspiracy theory. I don't believe that myself, but that was an amazing game-changing game. I've never been so distressed or at the same time excited by a football match, because it was amazing. It really was amazing. So that was the favourite. I think the Man United beating them.
Yeah.
Then there was that time where we beat Spurs again in the cup. I remember a chap coming, a Spurs fan, and he'd made his own FA Cup out of silver paper. I remember him holding it up like that, and he was really happy. And I remember when we beat him 3-1, he screwed it up. He threw it away. So yeah, fantastic, great memories. But also the best one was probably when we got promoted, when we played Bradford City, April 1997, and a mucky day, not a nice day, and winning. And I wrote a poem about it, because what it was when the whistle went, I thought there'd been like an eruption of noise. And there was, but there was a few seconds of complete silence when everybody's going, this is for him that came all these years and never saw him do very well. This is for my dad. It was for my mate Martin Wiley, my brother-in-law. We wrote together for years. He was a big Barnsley fan, bigger than me. Died in 1993. And everybody's going, this is for them. And then everybody went mad. But that few seconds silence, I still think about it. What an amazing thing. And then you thought, this would be the start of many years in Premiership, which it weren't. That was the sad thing, coming down again. But
some clubs are meant to be in, surely, some clubs are meant to be in.
Well, I think we are a Championship team, I hope. But that's what we are. That's what we're going to be. I hope so.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, I like the Championship. I don't like the Premiership much. Championship's great.
Same here.
Dickie, it's not my round bird.
Yeah, that's the one. Dickie no doubt cried when you were relegated from the Premier League, did you?
I didn't, because I felt that this was a temporary blip in our rise to European glory. I thought, oh well, we're going to be one of them yo-yo teams. Turns out we're just a yo team who went. No, I didn't actually, because I thought I've had excitement, I've had this, and I genuinely thought, all right, we're down, but we'll be back up. I thought Danny Wilson would stay, that we'd go back up, but it would be just a temporary thing. We had good players. I don't know if we were lucky, to go up with a team that was all right, because the 3 teams that went up came down that year, Bolton and Palace, who since then have gone up and down. We never have. So I wasn't that distressed. I remember bumping into John Dennis and him saying, "How are you?" I said, "Well, I'm not." He was much more upset than me, because I said, "I think we will be back." And how naive was that? Okay, 101 uses for a flat cap, including you can wear the book as a cap if it rains.
Have a match. Well, what is your favourite alternative use of the many, of the hundreds you've got?
There are many in here. There's things like it was used in the Bible as a Moses basket. My favourite bit is a bit that I found that Shakespeare had written, King Lear. There's a lost bit of King Lear about a flat cap, which I'll read to you.
Okay.
If I can find it. There it is. It's the flat cap scene from King Lear, now lost. And when you watch Shakespeare's comedies, they're not that funny because the language is different. And this is one of them. So it's Lear and the Fool.
Okay.
Lear. O fool, what dost thou sport upon thy head? It seems exceeding flat and dull, i' faith, as Lincolnshire and Norfolk, 2 flat places in the east. Fool. Oh, sir, I wear a cap whose flatness is the roundness of itself, and if the world is flat, then this cap be to and so, because the world is round, this flat cap, cannot be the world, so the flat cap is the world to itself. Lear. You mean you've lost your trilby? Fool. I have. So it's that kind of thing. So it's just ridiculous things. There's Tarzan man. So that's, me and my friend Tony Husband, the great cartoonist, we just do these books for the Dalesmen, and got the 101 uses for flat cap, did 101 uses for a Yorkshire pudding. We're kind of running out of Yorkshire cliches. He's from Lancashire, so he said 101 uses for a Yorkshireman's wallet. I said, no. So I like doing that kind of thing, so that's my latest publication. I mean, Twitter, I'm a late convert to Twitter. My kids were all on Facebook, and what I didn't like about Facebook was it was a fairly visual medium, and I'm a language man. Then I discovered Twitter, and I naively thought to start with the 140 characters didn't include the spaces between the words, but they do, and so I like the discipline of it.
It's a test.
It is a real test. So every morning I do my morning. I get up ridiculously early. I've always woken up ridiculously early.
I've noticed.
So I wake up crack of dawn. I do some gentleman's exercises. So my wife thinks I'm having a stroke, so I do some exercises, and then I go for my morning stroll, and I tweet what I see. And the thing is, what I like about it is it gets my brain going first thing in the morning. It gets me thinking linguistically, metaphorically, narratively, and to squeeze it into 140 characters. So this morning's tweet, I went for my walk. There was a young woman sat in a car, and the car was revving gently, like she was waiting for somebody. But she was looking out like that. She was looking at nothing. It was really odd. So I tweeted her, and then I went in the paper shop, and I dropped a 10-pence piece, and it rolled out the window like it was like the gingerbread man when he escapes. It rolled out like that. So I put them two in my tweet, and then little narrative happens. My favourite one still is when I saw a bloke in a high-vis jacket walking past a bloke in a camouflage jacket, and they just cancelled each other out, and I tweeted that. So and then I'm on the train a lot because I don't drive, so I tweet on the train. So you see the most amazing things. The other day, this fella's shouting down his phone, "I'm trying to catch Richard." Fantastic. You going, Richard? I'm ready for you. You know, things like that. And then people, just snippets that people do. And what I want to do is, I always want people to go, is that all it is? I can have a go at that. I can actually tweet this, and it's poetry. I think it really is. It really. And my wife says I do it too much, and maybe I do. Maybe I'm a bit addicted to it. And then one day it'll fade away, and it's not going to last forever. But I like doing it, and I am followed by 12,000 people. Although what I find is that once you get to 10,000, you get followed by a lot of corporate people, and odd things happen. So I once tweeted the word cufflinks. I think I said something like, "The moon looks like a cufflink." Tweeted this. I got followed by 4 cufflinks firms. That's weird. And I never wear cufflinks, and I don't think they're ever going to follow me. And also, when you get to a certain level, you get followed by a lot of American rappers. Yo, dude, but I don't think maybe they're going to use my work. But what you also get is, what I like is, like you, Vern, you reply, and that's what I like. And I like to reply to it. I like the interactions bit. And I do like that, because I think if you ever got a vast number of followers, you read about people, pop singers who've got 20 million followers, they couldn't possibly reply, I wouldn't have thought. But at the moment, it's manageable, and I do like it, and it builds up a sort of community. And people have said to me, "Why don't you put your tweets in a book?" That's like putting my cups of tea in a book, because a cup of tea, the great thing about, I love cups of tea, the great thing about a cup of tea is it's an ephemeral thing. The kettle boils, you have a cup of tea, it's gone. That's the great thing about a tweet, it disappears. Several people have said to me, "Publish your tweets," and I've said, "No, I don't want to. I want them to fly away." My mate Ian Beasley, the great photographer, said, "Let's do a book of photographs and tweets," and I said, "I don't want to, because they're ephemeral. I like it because it's like a shout you hear here." One of the best ones I ever heard here, a chap ran past, forgot who we played for, he had a load of orange hair, like proper red hair. This bloke shouts out, "That looks like a busted cushion." Oh, wow. And I've made it live by saying it on camera, but I just like the fact that it was said and it went. That looks like a busted cushion. Fantastic. When I was a younger man, when I brought the kids were all little, I bring my 3 kids and my mate's 2 kids, and me and 5 kids, we'd always put a ridiculous bet on. We'd put £1 on Barnsley to win, 9-0, Chris Morgan to score 3. And if you won, you'd be able to buy several new players. And I just did it for the daftness of it. And also because it might happen. That's the great thing about it. That's like I said, football. It never happened yet, and it probably won't. But what's the point in betting on a 0-0 draw or something like that? No, I never have. Perhaps I should, with my powers of prediction. Several down here, I think Ronnie Glavin was a poet of the turf. How we ever got him, I don't know. But he was fantastic. He'd do that thing where he was actually, we sometimes get it when we get players on loan from higher leagues. Like, for example, when Daniel Nardiello came to us from Manchester United, the first game he played, he scored 2 and made 1. But he was cleverer than the rest of the people on the pitch because he'd been brought up Man United way and he was a cleverer player. So he'd pass to where the player would be if they got the same amount of brains as him. And they went, what are they passing there for? Because he assumed they were as clever as him. And Glavin was like that. He was cleverer than everybody else. And he had that strange thing that grandmasters have at chess, where they know what's going to happen in 5 minutes. Yeah, that's what great footballers can do, I think. They can predict the future. And so they go, if I pass to him, then he will pass to him, then I'll be there, and it will come off him, and I'll get it. Paddy McCourt does it to the same extent. He does that thing where he goes, if I kick it against him, it'll land here. And it's not a thought process. I don't think it's some instinctive process. So Ronnie Glavin, I would say, I used to love watching Neil Redfern, because he had skill, but also huge heart. And had that thing where somehow, you get it with other games, like Tendulkar would be able to change a game simply by the force of his will. By going, look, we're losing, but actually, if I concentrate hard and stick my chest out, we're going to win. And so seeing a player like Redfern in his height, and the same with, I've got to say, Johnny Hendry. When we signed Johnny Hendry, there was a big picture on back at Chronicle, not another all-the-way ex-Middlesbrough player, and a picture of Johnny Hendry like a flaming barrage balloon. But yeah, that he scored this fantastic goal to put us top at league when we were going up against Sheffield United just before Christmas. And this thing where, this sublime movement where it was late at night and he just got in front of goal. It was at Bramall Lane. And just did this thing where he thought he was going to kick it here. And he just did a side foot goal. And we all went, and we were just gobsmacked. And you think, oh, that's players. And sometimes it's deliberate, we know, and sometimes it's accidental. But it's players like that. And it is like poetry. It is like, and it's got it's working man's ballet, as they used to say. It really is. And you can't, and you go home and you say, what you don't tell you? Look at that, look what he did there. And people go, was it really that good? And it's because you were there at that moment. Yeah. When the moment before, you thought he couldn't do it. The moment after, you thought, has he just done it? And the moment he does it. And what often happens, the moment he does it, you're going like that, saying, passes a crisp. Or, I'm just nipping to the toilet. The number of goals you miss because you go to the toilet, I curse my bladder so much because I'm a middle-aged man. I can't have too many cups of tea. It's terrible, isn't it? And you think, no, it's happening now, just nip down. You can hear all the seats going up. Oh, what happened? He missed another goal. Sometimes he got to a stage with me where people around me say, go to the toilet, Ian, because we're going to score in a minute if you'll go. I quite like the thoughtful approach before the game. I think thoughtfulness. I think when we had Paul Hart as manager, he stuck these kind of the things you sometimes see on New Age tea towels on the way into the game. He said things like, we cannot lose, we can only win. Stuff like that. Just kind of, and so I would just be, I'd say, look, I'd do what Flitcroft did when we stayed up. He did this amazing speech where he said, you've kept a lot of people in jobs here. You've kept, and you try and remind him of the kind of place this is. You know, this is a place that's been kicked to death, Barnsley. It was here for one reason, which was to make coal, and that's all gone. So now you're struggling, we're still struggling. So I'd do that, I'd do a bit of that. So don't forget these people. Don't like Alan Clark, when Alan Clark took them down the pit. They said, look, these people, they're towing the guts out. What I'd do is, I'd do it in limericks. That's what I'd do. I'd prepare beforehand a number of limericks. I've just thought of this, but I think it's a great idea.
Foreign players might not get limericks.
That's true. We'd have to give them pantoums or villanelles, and or epics. I'd do that. I'd write it in limericks. So and I can't give you one off the top of my head. But what you could do was you'd have a limerick for every player, and within those 5 lines, because limericks can contain multitudes, you'd have a bit of encouragement, a bit of shouting, a bit of tactical advice, a bit of nous, a bit of that. That would be. I'd do me half-time talking limericks, and I'd get people that know me. They'd know. They'd say, "It's him that does the half-time talking limericks." That's why I do it. Then we'd sign 3 players with names you can't rhyme. We'd sign Orange, Mr. Silver, and Mr. Purple, and that's when it all go to pot because you can't rhyme Orange, Silver, and Purple. So that's what I do. Half-time talking limericks. Then at the end,
Churchillian like that.
Churchillian. Oh yeah. Churchillian. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it in a daft voice. I'd do it in a church, not like the one I normally use. I'd do it in my voiceover voice, and I'd do it in Churchillian. That's what it'll be. Churchillian limericks. That's what'll do it. Yeah, I can see that working. Barnsley would be up, and they say, "How did you get up, lads?" And they go, "You know, it's all due to the gaffers, Churchillian limericks." we'd have probably to do a few takes with that, wouldn't we? What was it again, boys? It's the Churchillian Chillick. No, what is it? It's the the Churchillian Limericks. That's what we'd do. And then, in fact, we'd get sponsored. Isn't there an insurance company called Churchill?
Yeah, there is.
That's what we'd be.
You'd end up sat in a car like Dawn French,
Yes, I would.
talking to a...
I would. And then we'd be sponsored by the City of Limerick and Churchill Insurance. I can see it now. People laugh now, but you dig this interview out in 10 years. You'll see.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you.